In this video, I'm going to show you how you can add filtering functionality using the Frameship components. So here we have a page set up for our catalog, and you can see we've got a list of all our products, which is essentially just a collection list. Now, what I'm actually going to do is move this collection list off the canvas for now. Now, I'm going to go to Frameship. I'm going to open the plugin. I'm going to click on components and we're going to go to catalog, and we're actually going to go down to our filtering components here, and you'll see we've actually got a fair few. We've got a favorite button, we've got the ability to dynamically filter, to sort, we can add a real-time search bar. There's a lot of different options here. So what I'm going to do is actually drag in the filter orchestrator component, because this is the core one that we need to add all the other filtering options. So now you'll notice that we have this collection here, and if we go into the component settings here, we can actually configure the controls. So the first thing we want to do is actually sync that to our collection list here, and since this is off the canvas, we can actually select it as an option. And we'll also set the width of this to be 100%, so we can actually keep the styling to be how we want it. Let's actually change it to be 1100 pixels. Now we can also design an empty state as well, which can just be a frame off the canvas. So I can just quickly do this, and we might say no items found, and we'll call this empty. And then if we go back to our component here, we can actually set that empty state. So if we apply a filter and there are no items found, we can have control over what we show. So now that we have this core component set up, we can pretty simply just add our other functionality to enable our filtering. So we'll go back to components here. We'll go to catalog, and again, there's a bunch to play around with here, but for now, let's actually just set the filter button. So let's actually bring this onto my page here, and you'll notice we've got a bunch of different controls. Firstly, I'm going to go to setup, and we need to type in the field name that I want to filter by. So if I go to my CMS here and actually open this item, you'll see we've got all these different fields. Now in this case, I actually want to filter by category. So if I go across here, you'll notice there's lots of different types of categories that somebody can select from. So I'm actually going to go to my setup, and I'm going to make sure that I type this exactly as it appears inside my CMS, which is category with a C. Now we can also set the field type, so whether I want to be an option, text, toggle, reference, or multi-reference. And again, this needs to be exactly what it is inside of the CMS here, which in this case is just text. So I'll go here and I'll set that to be text. Now we also need to make sure that we're actually syncing to the right collection. So I'm just going to set that to be my stores again. And then I've got some styling options in here as well. But if I just preview this for now, you will notice that all that information has been synced across. And say if I click on visors, it's going to actually sync to that option, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously there's a lot of different options here. So what I might actually do is make this a drop down, and we'll preview this again. And now I can actually select an option here. So let's go tank tops. Great. Now I can see all my tank tops. Now, the really great thing about filtering with Frameship as well is we can actually apply multiple filters to the same collection list. So for example, if I wanted to also add a real-time search bar, I could simply just drag that onto my page here. And then all I need to do is actually set up the configuration. So if I want to filter by a certain field, I could do that here. So for example, if I wanted to set the filter to be searching via category, I can just simply put that in here under the field. So we might have this as category. And we probably want to have another one too, which is going to be for the title. So then when I actually preview this and actually search for something like polo, you will notice it will start to filter out those options. And then let's say I set the filter to be something completely different here. You notice that both these options actually show no items found. But if I remove this search here, you will notice that we actually have a result. And that's how you can add filtering to your Frameship store. It's really powerful, and I can't wait to see what you build with it.